A man took the last bus home every night and always saw a girl sitting by the road. This was the 13th time he met her. She always wore white and had a suitcase beside her. Every time he heard her fingers tapping softly on the bench, making a knocking sound. On the 14th time, the man finally asked what she was doing. The girl said she was waiting. He told her the last bus had already left. He offered his phone to help, but noticed the screen was cracked. Luckily, it still worked. The girl didn't take the phone but asked if he knew her. When he said no, she lowered her head sadly. Confused, the man left. The next day, it rained heavily. The girl was still sitting on the bench. The man got off the bus and opened his umbrella. She asked again if he knew her. Suddenly, thunder roared. The man tried to give her the umbrella. She said she didn't have time, felt cold, and wanted to go to his home. Then she carried her heavy suitcase and walked to his apartment building. Even though it was hard, she didn't let him help. The man pressed the button for the 8th floor. When they left the elevator, they walked down a long, dark hallway to his home. The room was empty, with almost no decorations. Lightning flashed, and the girl's face became strange. She slowly walked in, and the door instantly closed. Only then did the frosted bulb return to normal. Strange customers kept coming tonight. A woman in red shoes entered. She wore long hair and all black. She reached out to touch the bulb, but the owner stopped her, unhappy, singing strange songs. But the alley was the only way for Hyunju to run errands for her mom. Her friends ran away in fear. She had no choice but to enter the alley alone. Her phone's weak light couldn't calm her fear. She felt something was wrong. After a few steps, she turned and shined her light behind her. She saw a shadow and ran as fast as she could. At the end of the alley was the light shop. The owner always gave her candy to pick from. Hyunju liked the yellow ones. She lived with her mom. Her dad worked abroad and rarely came home. He made her a custom necklace to keep her safe, and she always wore it. Then she told the owner about the shadow in the alley. He said she might have seen something most people can't see. He called them strangers. Sometimes, strangers visited his shop. The owner, with years of experience, could always tell them apart from normal people, like a woman growing taller, a man covered in frost, or one dripping water. He warned Hyunju to act normal and pretend not to see them. Hyunju listened carefully, but didn't notice the water on the table reflecting the owner's aged face. Before she left, the owner gave her a hand crank flashlight and told her to use it in the dark. After she left, he carefully placed her candy wrapper in a small wooden box. The night was suffocatingly quiet. Bench girl dragged her suitcase closer to the man. The man handed her a towel to dry off the rain, but he was shocked to see she had grown nails on her fingertips. That explained the clicking sounds when she touched the bench. He took back the towel and quickly walked to the bathroom. The girl laid the suitcase down. She stared at him and slowly opened it. Inside was a full set of knives. The elevator reached the 8th floor. When Hyunju came home, she saw the girl leaving with her suitcase. She greeted politely. The girl stopped, slowly turned, and stared at Hyunju's door. Blood dripped from the suitcase. The next day, a new tenant, Seon-hae, moved near the apartment. She didn't like living in buildings with too many neighbors, so she chose a 3-bedroom apartment on the 1st floor. The house wasn't in great shape, and some facilities were missing. One door was even locked and couldn't be opened. But the landlord said the area was quiet at night, and the rent was cheap, which made it perfect for her. So she brought her luggage, filled the bedroom, kitchen, and living room, and cleaned up. The place looked a little cozier. Finally, she used a curtain to cover the locked door. There were no neighbors around, but something annoyed her. She heard a boy singing in the alley. He walked quickly through the alley, and the singing got louder. When he stopped, Seon-hae fell asleep, but her shadow suddenly changed. It felt like someone was hiding in the dark. In the following days, the cheap rental got stranger. The lights often went out, but the circuit box had no problems. One night, while drying her hair, she heard singing again. The boy suddenly stopped and saw a figure with an umbrella running away. The singing annoyed Seon-hae. Then the power suddenly went out. She turned and saw light coming from behind the locked door. She walked over and easily turned the lock open. The doctor was checking a critically ill patient. The situation didn't look good, and the patient needed more observation. Next to him was a patient with severe alcohol poisoning and delirium. Because there weren't enough regular beds, he was temporarily moved to the ICU. Many patients were there, and their families waited outside. The doctor explained that survival now depended on the patient's willpower. Seeing the family's despair, Young-ji felt overwhelmed. Their desperate pleas echoed in her mind, impossible to forget. Someone outside the restroom stall asked how an unconscious patient could have a will to survive. Young-ji didn't know how to answer. She said she had once been in a serious accident and lost consciousness. The doctor told her mother the same thing. In the end, she miraculously woke up, but even now, she didn't know how she found the will to survive. Just then, someone outside banged on the door. The lights flickered. A woman suddenly appeared above the stall, shouting, "Save him!" In an instant, everything returned to normal. The cleaner heard the noise and asked if she was okay. Young-gi sighed in relief. It was just her imagination. Shun-hae entered the locked room with a bright light bulb hanging inside. She took it down, and the boy in the alley got scared. When she asked why he was causing noise, he ran away in fear. After school, a tired girl fell asleep at her desk. Hyun-ju tried to wake her several times, but failed. She had to walk home alone through a dark alley. She held a flashlight the shop owner gave her for courage. As soon as she entered, she saw a woman in black with red heels. Hyunju kindly offered to share her umbrella, but the woman ignored her. Hyunju followed but started feeling uneasy. The woman's hair seemed to grow longer, and her walking became strange. Her height rose until Hyunju couldn't see her face anymore. Remembering the owner's advice, Hyunju pretended not to notice and left quickly. But curiosity made her look back. The woman twisted her body and followed. The shop owner heard screams and stepped outside. He told Hyunju to go home and then removed his glasses. The woman froze in place. After staring at him, she slowly returned to normal. At the same time, the sleeping girl woke up. She turned around and saw a girl she had never met sitting in an empty seat. In the alley, a boy met bench girl carrying a suitcase. He asked if she could go with him to the light shop at the end. If he reached there, he could go home. The girl told him to follow her. As they passed Seon-hae's house, he explained why he feared that room. That night, he clearly saw another figure behind Seon-hae. Meanwhile, Seon-hae found more lights in her rental room broken. She could only use a flashlight to take a quick shower. While cleaning the drain, she pulled out a clump of long hair, but her hair was short. At that moment, the last working light went out, but the locked room lit up. She carefully approached and saw a faint figure in the mirror. She realized the strange events recently happened because that thing needed to hide in the dark. Outside, bench girl tried to knock on the door. The boy stopped her but fell to the ground, scared by the weird touch on his fingers. The girl told him they were no different. Then he noticed his twisted legs. He struggled to escape, but couldn't leave the alley. Seon-hae couldn't open the locked door either. She broke the glass to call for help. The boy, exhausted, sat on the ground. Their cries for help echoed through the alley. Singing strange songs. But the alley was the only way for Hyunju to run errands for her mom. Her friends ran away in fear. She had no choice but to enter the alley alone. Her phone's weak light couldn't calm her fear. She felt something was wrong. After a few steps, she turned and shined her light behind her. She saw a shadow and ran as fast as she could. At the end of the alley was the light shop. The owner always gave her candy to pick from. Hyunju liked the yellow ones. She lived with her mom. Her dad worked abroad and rarely came home. He made her a custom necklace to keep her safe, and she always wore it. Then she told the owner about the shadow in the alley. He said she might have seen something most people can't see. He called them strangers. Sometimes, strangers visited his shop. The owner, with years of experience, could always tell them apart from normal people, like a woman growing taller, a man covered in frost, or one dripping water. He warned Hyunju to act normal and pretend not to see them. Hyunju listened carefully, but didn't notice the water on the table reflecting the owner's aged face. Before she left, the owner gave her a hand-crank flashlight and told her to use it in the dark. After she left, he carefully placed her candy wrapper in a small wooden box. The night was suffocatingly quiet. Bench girl dragged her suitcase closer to the man. The man handed her a towel to dry off the rain, but he was shocked to see she had grown nails on her fingertips that explained the clicking sounds when she touched the bench. He took back the towel and quickly walked to the bathroom. The girl laid the suitcase down. She stared at him and slowly opened it. Inside was a full set of knives. The elevator reached the 8th floor. When Hyunju came home, she saw the girl leaving with her suitcase. She greeted politely. The girl stopped, slowly turned, and stared at Hyunju's door. Blood dripped from the suitcase. The next day, a new tenant, Seon-hae, moved near the apartment. She didn't like living in buildings with too many neighbors, so she chose a 3-bedroom apartment on the 1st floor. The house wasn't in great shape, and some facilities were missing. One door was even locked and couldn't be opened. But the landlord said the area was quiet at night and the rent was cheap, which made it perfect for her. So she brought her luggage, filled the bedroom, kitchen, and living room, and cleaned up. The place looked a little cozier. Finally, she used a curtain to cover the locked door. There were no neighbors around, but something annoyed her. She heard a boy singing in the alley. He walked quickly through the alley, and the singing got louder. When he stopped, Seon-hae fell asleep, but her shadow suddenly changed. It felt like someone was hiding in the dark. In the following days, the cheap rental got stranger. The lights often went out, but the circuit box had no problems. One night, while drying her hair, she heard singing again. The boy suddenly stopped and saw a figure with an umbrella running away. The singing annoyed Seon-hae. Then the power suddenly went out. She turned and saw light coming from behind the locked door. She walked over and easily turned the lock open. The doctor was checking a critically ill patient. The situation didn't look good, and the patient needed more observation. Next to him was a patient with severe alcohol poisoning and delirium. Because there weren't enough regular beds, he was temporarily moved to the ICU. Many patients were there, and their families waited outside. The doctor explained that survival now depended on the patient's willpower. Seeing the family's despair, Young-ji felt overwhelmed. Their desperate pleas echoed in her mind, impossible to forget. Someone outside the restroom stall asked how an unconscious patient could have a will to survive. Young-ji didn't know how to answer. She said she had once been in a serious accident and lost consciousness. The doctor told her mother the same thing. In the end, she miraculously woke up, but even now, she didn't know how she found the will to survive. Just then, someone outside banged on the door. The lights flickered. A woman suddenly appeared above the stall, shouting, "Save him!" In an instant, everything returned to normal. The cleaner heard the noise and asked if she was okay. Young-gi sighed in relief. It was just her imagination. Seon-hae entered the locked room with a bright light bulb hanging inside. She took it down, and the boy in the alley got scared. When she asked why he was causing noise, he ran away in fear. After school, a tired girl fell asleep at her desk. Hyun-ju tried to wake her several times, but failed. She had to walk home alone through a dark alley. She held a flashlight the shop owner gave her for courage. As soon as she entered, she saw a woman in black with red heels. Hyun-ju kindly offered to share her umbrella, but the woman ignored her. Hyun-ju followed but started feeling uneasy. The woman's hair seemed to grow longer, and her walking became strange. Her height rose until Hyun-ju couldn't see her face anymore. Remembering the owner's advice, Hyun-ju pretended not to notice and left quickly. But curiosity made her look back. The woman twisted her body and followed. The shop owner heard screams and stepped outside. He told Hyun-ju to go home and then removed his glasses. The woman froze in place. After staring at him, she slowly returned to normal. At the same time, the sleeping girl woke up. She turned around and saw a girl she had never met sitting in an empty seat. In the alley, a boy met bench girl carrying a suitcase. He asked if she could go with him to the light shop but didn't see her return. She cleaned up broken bulbs in the house. When she went downstairs to throw out the trash, she felt something strange. The woman in the elevator didn't seem to see her. Driver O climbed up, exhausted. He explained why Hyun-ju came here. Hyun-ju remembered how her teachers ignored her, and her friends never listened. She realized no one could see her. Her only way back to the real world was in the light shop. At that moment, her mom returned with the bulb. Hyun-ju cried and refused to take it. She didn't want to leave her mom and wanted to stay with her. The mom wept too, unwilling to part with her daughter. But she wanted Hyun-ju to live well. Driver O finished his mission and fell asleep peacefully. Finally, Hyun-ju woke up from her hospital bed. Her father drove her to school and cheered her on. Hyun-ju tried to adjust to real life. She also remembered everything with her mom in the apartment. To keep her mom in her memory, she refused the therapy after waking up. Every night, her mom went to the light shop, they talked, ate their favorite candies, and watched the winter snow. Meanwhile, after much persuasion from Hye-won, Seon-hae left the house in tears. She went to the light shop and found her own bulb. When she touched it, Seon-hae regained consciousness in the hospital. But soon after, she stopped breathing. In the light shop, she had broken the bulb to stay with her girlfriend. The alley house was no longer dark and scary to Seon-hae. They could live happily together, ignoring others' opinions. However, Ji-young kept sewing her boyfriend's body over and over. The mortician couldn't open her cabinet, no matter what. Unable to let go, Ji-young stopped a bus directly. She asked Hyun-min why he didn't remember her, and if he didn't love her enough. With her hint, Hyun-min learned the whole truth. Ji-young told him to find his bulb at the light shop. After hugging her one last time, he sadly walked into the shop, and following his instinct, found just like the head nurse once did for her when she was unconscious. On the other side, Hyun-ju saw bench girl again on her way home. She remembered meeting her on the 8th floor before, and let her guard down. The woman asked why she bought a light bulb for her mother every day. Hyun-ju remembered her mother was waiting, and quickly said goodbye. Near the playground outside the apartment, she noticed a man looking around. He said dogs nearby kept barking, and wouldn't let him sleep. Hyun-ju shone her flashlight at him. He was covered in frost and didn't look like a normal person. The man didn't want to talk much and urged Hyun-ju to leave. At the hospital, a critically ill patient showed signs of life again. He had been close to death several times. The doctors didn't understand how he survived this long. Young-ji said maybe his willpower wasn't just his own. The clerk and the woman in white, the cop trapped in a store, the man covered in frost. the man with huge debts, Seon-hae, stuck in her apartment, and the boy who fell. They all seemed to hear the same voice. It turned out they were all patients in the ICU on the 8th floor. At the same time, Hyunju ran home. The trash can was full of light bulbs she had bought. Her mom never turned on the lights when at home. Hyunju talked endlessly, but her mom said nothing. Then they hugged tightly. Hyunju smelled flowers on her mom, the kind from a funeral. Outside the door, a bench girl watched them in secret. The mysterious light shop connected the worlds of the living and the dead. The owner was actually a ferryman for souls. The flickering light bulbs in the shop represented patients in critical condition. One of them was the man who rode the bus every night. A few days ago, Hyunmin planned to visit his girlfriend after work for her birthday and proposed to her. His girlfriend was the mysterious bench girl Ji-young, but Ji-young didn't want to meet Hyunmin. She was deaf and mute. Hyunmin's mother disliked her and forced her to break up with him. To avoid trouble for Hyunmin, Ji-young decided to leave. Unaware, Hyunmin waited at the bus stop. He texted Ji-young, saying he would arrive soon. Touched by his messages, Ji-young decided to meet him one last time. The woman in red high heels was Hae-won. She was in love with Seon-hae, who was 20 years younger. They planned to rent a place together. The agent mistook them for mother and daughter. When Hae-won stayed silent, Seon-hae got angry and left, blaming her for hiding their relationship. Hae-won didn't want Seon-hae to suffer because of their love. Seon-hae grew even angrier. She threw her red heels and walked straight to the bus. Hae-won picked up the shoes and followed. Meanwhile, school ended. Hyunju happily ran to his waiting mom. Ji-young, who loved basketball, played with friends. He was the boy lost in the alley. Several strangers happened to get on the same bus. The driver was, Before driving, he found a problem with the tire. He planned to get it checked nearby, but was told he would have to pay for the repair himself if he didn't return the bus to headquarters. To save money, he risked driving on a rainy night. Suddenly, the bus lost control and crashed. Hyunmin reached for his phone, waiting for his girlfriend's reply. Hae-won used her body to protect Seon-hae. Hyunju was held tightly by her mom. The bus broke through the guardrail and fell into the river. Ji-young saw it happen. She knew her boyfriend was on the bus and called 911 for help, but she couldn't speak. Rescuers arrived and pulled the bus out of the river. The passengers and driver were rushed to the hospital. Hyunmin's waist was split open. Driver Oh's stomach was full of river water. The others were in a coma, close to death. Doctors tried to save them, but some died, including Hyunju's mom, Driver Oh, and Hae-won. In the hospital hallway, Hyunmin's parents waited for their son to wake up. Rescuers gave them Hyunmin's phone. That night, Ji-young called, but Hyunmin's mom hung up. She sent a message saying Hyunmin was dead. She blamed Ji-young, thinking the accident wouldn't have happened if Hyunmin wasn't going to see her. Luckily, Hyunmin was saved by the doctors. Later, Hyunmin's dad wanted to tell Ji-young the good news, but found out she planned to die with Hyunmin. He quickly sent a message saying Hyunmin was still alive. Ji-young saw it, but it was too late. In despair, she broke all 10 of her fingernails. After Ji-young passed away, the mortician placed her body in a cold storage cabinet. They needed to wait 3 days before sending her away. This was to give her time to say goodbye to the world. In life, Ji-young often waited for Hyunmin at a bus stop under blooming cherry trees. She once played drums with her boyfriend to show love. In death, she still stayed at the same bus stop every night, tapping the bench with her twisted nails. Her deep love for Hyunmin brought back her ability to speak. Sadly, Hyunmin, stuck between life and death, lost all his memories. Because his waist was broken in a car accident, his body fell apart every time he walked. To help him, Ji-young kept sewing his waist with a needle and thread. The third day soon came. The mortician found Ji-young's cabinet stuck. They realized she hadn't finished her final wish. Another soul, Hae-won, also had unfinished business. When she was taken to the hospital, her body had stiffened and couldn't be separated from Seon-hae's. The boy saw the ghost behind Seon-hae. It was Hae-won. As the lights in the room flickered, Seon-hae's memories returned. She remembered her love and fights. Finally, she cried helplessly. Hyunju was also trapped in an alley. After moving into the apartment, her mother sent her to buy light bulbs every night without saying why. Hyunju couldn't take it anymore. The road to the store was too scary and she couldn't go alone. She cried, not understanding why her mother kept asking her to buy useless bulbs. Hyunju didn't know the bulbs were her life. Her mother did it all to save her. The police officer was also confused. After the rain stopped, he left the light shop and walked into an alley, trying to leave. At the end of the alley, there was a middle school. Inside a classroom, names of students were on the cabinet. Seeing the names, his lost memories started to return. He remembered his wife was once pregnant, but after 4 months, her belly didn't grow. The doctor told her the baby had died inside her. The officer felt very guilty. His wife couldn't accept it and quietly left him. He ran through the alley desperately. He couldn't find his wife and couldn't escape the strange alley. Later, the officer lit a cigarette and noticed his broken lighter was suddenly fixed. He then realized something was wrong with his shadow. Scared, he returned to the light shop. The owner gave him a cup of hot coffee. The officer drank it but didn't feel the heat or taste anything. He also noticed the night in the shop never ended. The owner took off his sunglasses, revealing cat-like eyes. He told the officer he had faced the same confusion. Years ago, the owner and his daughter were trapped under rubble after a disaster. His kind daughter peeled a candy for him. He ate the candy and promised to find help for her. He struggled out of the ruins and stumbled into the light shop. The owner back then was a mysterious woman. He begged her for help, but she refused. Angry, he picked up a lamp to smash it, but his body froze suddenly. The woman and stumbled into the light shop. The owner back then was a mysterious woman. He begged her for help, but she refused. Angry, he picked up a lamp to smash it, but his body froze suddenly. The woman took the lamp from his hand, and the shop's lights returned. She told him there was also a bulb for his daughter in the shop. The man stared at the flickering lights and realized this was the border between life and death. He had already died in the ruins, so he begged the woman to save his daughter. The woman made a deal with him. From then on, he took over the light shop. People who met with accidents continued their usual lives here, but those who couldn't accept death wandered nearby. This was the world after death. The man, always cold and tortured by barking dogs, finally couldn't bear it and rushed out. He followed the sound and found a dog deep in the alley. Then, he remembered everything. The man had fallen off a cliff in the mountains and lost consciousness. A rescue dog stayed by his side, keeping him warm. It barked non-stop to call for help. When the rescue team arrived, the dog had sadly passed away. The man, in tears, stroked the kind dog. The dog barked and ran as if telling him to follow. It led him back to the light shop. There, with the dog's help, the man found his own bulb. Elsewhere, Hyunju was crying quietly in her room. Her mother didn't explain anything. She silently picked up Hyunju's necklace. Her funeral was the next day, and time was short. She decided to go to the light shop instead of Hyunju. Ye-won also gave her life to protect her loved one. In her apartment, she held Seon-hae tightly and told her to the light shop to find her light. On the other side, the police officer doubted the owner's words. The owner then spoke the nickname the officer had chosen for his unborn child. Hearing this, the officer couldn't help crying and believed the owner. He asked why the owner never told him the truth before. The owner explained it was because he was still alive. If he left with the light shop's memories, it would confuse both worlds. The officer asked one last question. He wanted to know where the suspect he was chasing had gone. The owner said the suspect existed only to lead him to the shop. Then he hinted to the officer to follow the light to find the way out. The officer took out his lighter and lit it. Meanwhile, he in the hospital woke up and slowly regained consciousness. In the hospital room, there was also Ji-hoon, who had been in a coma after the bus accident. Young-ji placed his favorite basketball under his bed to cheer him on. That same basketball appeared in the mysterious alley. Following the basketball, driver Oh found Ji-hoon. He knelt down and carried Ji-hoon on his back. Then he showed Ji-hoon the way to the light shop and told him to find his own bulb with his will. Before Ji-hoon left, driver Oh kept apologizing. He felt guilty about causing the accident. Ji-hoon, limping, entered the shop and reached for his bulb. In that moment, the world became full of color. Soon, Ji-hoon recovered and left the hospital. Young-ji brought him a gift to celebrate. Ji-hoon said he sometimes had strange dreams, wandering in some place. Young-ji smiled gently. She said the man in his dreams seemed quiet, but had a warm heart. Driver Oh went back to the alley after saving the boy. He went to Seon-hae's apartment and apologized to her girlfriend. Hae-won didn't blame him because he had also died in the car accident. Driver Oh said he planned to keep finding survivors and take them to the light shop. Hae-won told him someone was still alive in a nearby apartment. After thanking her, Driver Oh went to the apartment and met Hyunju's mom. He thought she was alive until he saw she couldn't speak. Realizing she was dead, she left the apartment just to save her precious daughter. She ran to the light shop. With cotton stuffed in her mouth, she couldn't talk but gave the owner the necklace with her daughter's name. The owner understood she wanted a bulb for Hyunju. He shook his head and said everyone must come to get the bulb themselves. The woman, desperate, grabbed his collar and silently screamed. The owner took off his sunglasses, shocking her with his appearance. She cried, grabbed a candy nearby, unwrapped it, and put it in his mouth. The owner realized the woman was his daughter. Because of his deal with the previous owner, his daughter had survived the ruins. After years of loneliness in the shadowy world, dad and daughter finally reunited. Meanwhile, Hyunju waited for her mom but didn't see her return. She cleaned up broken bulbs in the house. When she went downstairs to throw out the trash, she felt something strange. The woman in the elevator didn't seem to see her. Driver Oh climbed up, exhausted. He explained why Hyunju came here. Hyunju remembered how her teachers ignored her, and her friends never listened. She realized no one could see her. Her only way back to the real world was in the light shop. At that moment, her mom returned with the bulb. Hyunju cried and refused to take it. She didn't want to leave her mom and wanted to stay with her. The mom wept too, unwilling to part with her daughter. But she wanted Hyunju to live well. Driver Oh finished his mission and fell asleep peacefully. Finally, Hyunju woke up from her hospital bed. Her father drove her to school and cheered her on. Hyunju tried to adjust to real life. She also remembered everything with her mom in the apartment. To keep her mom in her memory, she refused the therapy after waking up. Every night, her mom went to the light shop, they talked, ate their favorite candies, and watched the winter snow. Meanwhile, after much persuasion from Hae-won, Seon-hae left the house in tears. She went to the light shop and found her own bulb. When she touched it, Seon-hae regained consciousness in the hospital, but soon after, she stopped breathing. In the light shop, she had broken the bulb to stay with her girlfriend. The alley house was no longer dark and scary to Seon-hae. They could live happily together, ignoring others' opinions. However, Ji-young kept sewing her boyfriend's body over and over. The mortician couldn't open her cabinet, no matter what. Unable to let go, Ji-young stopped a bus directly. She asked Hyun-min why he didn't remember her, and if he didn't love her enough. With her hint, Hyun-min learned the whole truth. Ji-young told him to find his bulb at the light shop. After hugging her one last time, he sadly walked into the shop, and following his instinct, found his bulb. Watching his bulb glow, Ji-young cried even harder. Her boyfriend really left her. In the hospital room, thanks to Youngji's efforts, the man wandering in the dark heard the song. Finally, he followed the sound, found his way back, and came back to life. The police officer recovered and returned to the noodle shop. He realized Kim Sang-hoon was not a suspect, but a guide leading him to the light shop. During the car accident, Kim Sang-hoon also saved the officer's life. Kim Sang-hoon said he existed to maintain order. He had been following the woman who died in the fire because she didn't know she was dead. He visited the elderly man living alone to share a bowl of noodles before the man passed away. Kim noticed the police officer's sharp eyes and hoped he could take over his job. The officer agreed, put on the sunglasses, and became a guide for lost souls. At night, Youngji was haunted by an angry spirit. The police officer appeared and took off his sunglasses. Meanwhile, Hyun-min's recovery wasn't going well. His thoughts were still confused. The doctor advised him to let go of unnecessary things, but the first thing he threw away was his phone full of memories with his girlfriend. Hyun-min seemed more worried about not living a normal life than losing Ji-young. The mortician dressed Ji-young's body, but she still had regrets. She didn't understand why Hyun-min had forgotten her. Meanwhile, Hyun-min got a new phone and planned to start fresh. When he entered the code at his door, the hallway lights suddenly went out. He waved his hand, just like when he used to wave at Ji-young while they dated. Just then, Ji-young returned to his side.
Before we get started, don't forget to subscribe and like. Our series begins with Gina, a girl who is famous at school for her beauty and talent, which makes all the boys admire her. Gina is also training at a company because she dreams of becoming a famous idol. She's known for always being humble and helping people who get bullied. Then we move to our hero, whose name is Seunggo, and who also admires Gina and has been watching her for a long time. When his friend walks in on him and sees that, he advises him to stop watching her because she supposedly already has a boyfriend, and because they basically come from two different worlds. She's famous and loved, while our hero is unknown to almost everyone. We then go back to Gina. When her boyfriend comes to talk to her, she looks at him indifferently. He tells her they're in public and takes her aside to talk. Coincidentally, our hero is in the same place and sees them together. He keeps thinking about what his friend said, that they're really different and that there's no hope they could ever be together. We find out that Gina's relationship with her boyfriend, whose name is Tak, is actually very bad. This is shown when he tries to apologize for missing her birthday party, but our heroine keeps giving him the cold shoulder and tells him she wants to break up with him. He refuses and says he won't leave her without a reason. She tells him she has many reasons, but gives him just one to spare him. She no longer has feelings for him and now has a new boyfriend. He laughs at her and asks who would be unlucky enough to date her. Gina gets nervous and looks around until she finds a random guy's photo, points to it, and says that's her new boyfriend. When he looks at the photo, he realizes it's our hero. Tak isn't worried because he knows she's lying, and to make sure, he tells her to introduce him to this guy, and then he'll accept the breakup. Gina agrees and says she'll introduce them tomorrow. After he leaves, she realizes the disaster she just created and asks her friend to help her look for our hero. They run into the hero's friend, who panics, thinking something bad happened, and goes to apologize to Gina's friend, trying to fix things. But then Gina's friends call her and tell her they found the friend of the guy she's looking for. The hero's friend runs away quickly and goes to warn the hero, asking what he did to make Gina look for him. The hero is surprised that Gina is looking for him, but his friend tells him it's not the time to be surprised. Gina is waiting for him on the school rooftop. Our hero rushes up, curious about what's going on and why she wants him. When he arrives, he finds Gina in front of him, asking him to be her boyfriend. He's shocked. When she notices his face changing colors, she tells him she knows she's pretty and deserves better than him, but she's humble and chooses the weakest of God's creatures, meaning him. He tells her to stop mocking him and says she already has a boyfriend. She tells him she broke up with him. He asks if she broke up because she likes him, and she replies that she only found out he exists yesterday and that he should wake up. This is serious. He asks why she wants to date him if she doesn't love him. She tells him not to think of it as real dating, just an offer for a limited time. Our hero refuses, which shocks Gina because it's the first time in her life someone has said no to her. She goes to her friends and tells them, amazed, that he said no. They ask her what she'll do about Tak, whom she promised to introduce to her new boyfriend tomorrow. She says she doesn't know what to do and is scared she'll be exposed as a liar and might be forced to go back to Tak. We go back to our hero, who tells his friend about Gina's offer and how he rejected her. His friend is shocked and can't believe he rejected the love of his life. Suddenly, Tak appears and mocks the hero hero and his friend, saying he's sure the hero isn't Gina's boyfriend because she was lying. He leaves. Meanwhile, Gina keeps thinking about Seungho rejecting her and feels upset, like the whole world is against her. Then Tak shows up and asks if she's going to introduce him to her new boyfriend today, or if she's backing out. She says she definitely will and has nothing to hide. He tells her fine. He'll wait for her after school, and she should bring her boyfriend. Gina decides she has no choice but to go and drag the hero there by force, but he tells her no matter what she does, he won't date her. She says this time she'll tell him the real reason, and explains why she broke up with Tak. He sympathizes with her and decides to help her and sacrifice himself by dating her. She tells him one of the conditions is that he can't fall in love with another girl during this period. He agrees, but says he also has conditions. He wants to call her by her name and walk her home after school. He's happy that he'll finally be dating her. She agrees, but reminds him their relationship isn't real, which upsets him and makes him remember his mother before she died and how she advised him to always be honest. When Gina asks him to sign the contract, he hesitates, but she tells him to think about it and leaves the contract with him. His friend comes and tries to convince him, telling him it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Gina goes to the place where Tak is waiting and finds him alone. He asks where her new boyfriend is and says it looks like they're getting back together. A minute passes and no one shows up, so Tak takes the opportunity and asks her to get back with him, promising he won't hurt her again. Gina loses hope until she sees Seungho arrive and announce that he's Gina's boyfriend. It turns out he signed the contract. Gina is happy, takes him, and leaves, while Tak is shocked that she really got into a relationship. When our hero goes home, his dad finds out he's in a relationship and asks how he manages to make all women fall in love with him, asking for advice. His dad then asks why he suddenly wants to know about dating and women. Our hero tells him he's a decent guy too, and decided to get into a relationship. His dad says, "Listen son, here's the secret. The first way to a girl's heart is her stomach. Take her to restaurants and buy her the food she loves." When our hero goes to lunch, he notices she didn't bring much food, so he follows his father's advice and buys her food. When Gina sees it, she's happy with his care and smiles at him, which makes our hero very happy that he made her smile, even with something small. He decides to wait for her after school so they can go home together, but when she sees him, she tells him she won't go home with him and refuses to walk together. He remembers his father's words that women don't like clingy men, and that if a man leaves her alone, she'll eventually come back, so he lets her walk alone, and when she does, Gina runs into her ex-boyfriend face to face, so she runs back and asks him to walk her home, and our hero is shocked when he sees her again and realizes his father was right, completely right. The heroine decides to take him to a restaurant so she can get to know him better, because she's afraid her boyfriend might already doubt that their relationship is fake. There, she discovers they have many things in common. When she finds out he has to leave because he has training, he asks if he can pick her up after she finishes so he can walk her home. She tells him she'll be late, but he says he doesn't mind and will wait. And when her training actually ends, she finds him really waiting for her, and he walks her home. She asks for his number, he says goodbye, and leaves. And it turns out someone is watching them. Gina goes out with her friends and keeps calling the hero, telling him she's at a nearby cafe and asking him to come. As soon as he gets the messages, he rushes there and brings his friend with him. His friend starts acting strangely, which annoys Gina's friend, whose name is Hana, who already can't stand the hero and keeps insisting they leave. Gina gets bored too and says they should go. Here the hero steps in, telling them there's a place nearby that sells really good food and asks them to come with him. His friend gets kicked out because this is their secret place, and he can't take Gina there. Gina's happy that he shared a special place with her. When they go there and try the food, they love it. Gina's friend also starts to like the hero's friend, and it looks like there might be something between them soon. When Gina tastes the food, she really likes it, so the hero suggests they play games too. Gina plays and has a great time. She asks him to take pictures together. When they realize he's going home, she says she'll walk him this time, and she walks him to his house. When he says he'll walk her too, she tells him she's been walking alone for 18 years anyway. He takes off his jacket and gives it to her to wear, since he won't walk her home and the weather is cold. The heroine is surprised by his behavior, but at the same time touched. Tak sees the heroine and even takes a picture of her while Song is beside her, which upsets him. We go to the heroine, who decides to return the jacket to our hero. At the same time, she sees her ex-boyfriend bullying him, but she arrives in time, sees them, and warns Tak not to bother her boyfriend or think about hurting him. She tells him that if he does anything to upset him again, she's ready to. Tak says he already doubts their relationship and that he'll prove it his own way. She tells him she won't go back to him to make that clear, then goes to Song and feeds him raisins, shocking our hero with what she did, but confirming to her ex that they're really together. We go to our hero, who gets upset because the heroine didn't stick to their rules. He calls her stupid and an idiot, leaves her, and walks away. Her friends come and criticize her too, saying what she did was wrong. She tells them that this was the only solution, even if it wasn't real. We go to the pig Tak, who is furious about what happened and shows that he's not a good person at all. He decides he must get Gina back and tries to do anything to make her like him again, but the heroine isn't interested and doesn't give him any attention. We go to our hero Song with his friend. While they're handing things out to students, Gina asks them to go eat together, but Song keeps ignoring her, upset because of what she she did and refuses. He keeps avoiding her. When our hero returns alone to class, he meets Hana, the heroine's friend, who isn't okay at all and looks exhausted. When he asks her, she tells him she hasn't eaten for 3 days to lose weight. He encourages her and tells her she must eat something so she doesn't harm herself, but she ignores his advice and won't accept it no matter what he does. We go to Gina, who goes to Song's friend and begs him, saying, "Please, I want any way for Song to love me again." He encourages her, even though he's upset. The heroine wonders why Song accepted her offer before. His friend tells her the truth and reveals that Song had fallen in love with her before she even knew him, and only did that to be close to her. The heroine is shocked when she finds out that Song loved her for a long time. We go to Song, who is sitting with Hana. When he hands her water because he's worried she'll get dehydrated, she decides to take it from him, and he realizes that he admires her willpower and that she's holding on for the sake of her dream. And he encourages her. She tells him people think she's strange because she refuses to eat and drink to become a famous idol. He tells her she's wonderful in his eyes, but asks her to eat something, even if it doesn't make her gain weight. She listens to him and encourages him too, because she knows he's only pretending to be Gina's boyfriend and doesn't have feelings for her, though it looks like she might be starting to like him. After that, Gina goes to Seong and argues that he also broke the contract because he loved her and didn't tell her. He tells her he didn't break the contract and that his feelings are real. She asks if he loved her, and he says he's liked her since he first heard her sing. She apologizes for breaking the contract, and he forgives her. They make up. Gina then goes to the lab to measure her heartbeat, and as soon as she sees Seung in front of her, her heart starts racing, showing that she's attracted to him. We go back to Tak, who's furious at the heroine and her behavior. His friends reassure him and tell him everything will be fine. We come to Gina at the training hall with her friends, and Hana the trainer starts talking to her. She tells her she's not doing well, but then starts praising Gina, saying how talented she is and how good she is, and jealousy shows on her face. The next day at school, Seung gives Gina a gift to celebrate their relationship. Gina really likes it, and her admiration for him grows even more. She goes to show her friends the gift, and Tak sees her, looking even more jealous. He remembers when they were together, and how she always gave him gifts, but he never cared, and it becomes clear he still likes her, and regrets his behavior. When Gina goes to put her gift in her locker, she finds a photo of herself and a message from someone telling her they'll be together very soon, but she doesn't care, and goes to meet Seung. Our hero is shocked when he sees how much Gina cares about him, and defends him when her friends try to tease him. When Hana asks permission to attend a famous singer's concert, Seung turns out to know that singer too, and is a huge fan. He keeps talking about her, which makes Gina upset and jealous. Seung and his friend excuse themselves to leave. Gina takes the chance to ask her friend about the singer, and wonders how her friend suddenly started accepting Seung. Her friend tells her she realized he's a good person, so she decided to accept him. Gina asks Hana if she likes Seung, but Hana denies it and says they're just pretending, and that her whole relationship is fake. Hana seems happy, as if she's the one who's falling for him. On her way to class, she runs into Tak, who asks her for something. We return to Gina, telling Seung she can't have lunch with him because the company needs her, but she invites him to lunch at her house after she's done. She also asks him to go with her to the singer's concert, and he agrees, and goes with her. When it ends, he's shocked to see Gina with her ex-boyfriend. We learn that Hana asked Gina to meet an important person at the company's restaurant, and when Gina arrived, she was shocked to find it was her ex, who asked her to sit and talk. She refused at first, and told him there was nothing between them, but he begged her, so she finally agreed. Suddenly, he brings out many gifts and tells her he'll make up for the days he didn't give her any. She tells him she never cared about gifts and just wanted him by her side. In the middle of their conversation, Seung arrives and sees them together and looks jealous. He asks her if this is the important thing that stopped her from coming with him. She gets upset and walks away. Gina runs after him and asks why he was with Hana. He tells her they were at their favorite singer's concert. She tells him she didn't know she'd meet her ex and that Hana was the one who asked her to sit with him. She gets jealous too and storms off. In her anger, she bumps into someone by accident, apologizes, and keeps walking. Tak comes out and asks Seung about Gina. When he hears she left, he panics. As he connects the dots, he realizes she's in danger. Her things keep going missing, and someone has been taking pictures of her everywhere. He worries about leaving her alone and decides to call her. We go to Gina, who feels like someone is following her. She asks him why he's stalking her, and he says he sent her a message telling her they'd be together soon. She discovers he's a student at her school and threatens to report him if he comes near her. He gets angry and says he'll never leave her. It becomes clear he's mentally unstable. She runs away, and he runs after her. We go back to Seung, who tells Tak that she argued with him, and that's why she's not answering. Tak gets angry at him and blames him for letting her walk alone. They realize someone strange has been leaving her messages and photos, and they're sure he's now taking advantage of her being alone and will probably hurt her. They panic and try calling her, but her phone is off, which scares them even more. Suddenly, they get a call from Gina, but no one speaks, confirming their fears that Gina is really in danger. They tell Seung that each of them should search for her in different places. We go to Gina, where the obsessed guy tells her he's been watching her for a long time and was waiting for her to break up with Tak. But when that happened, she immediately started dating someone else, which made him lose his chance to get close to her. He gets extremely angry and starts yelling at her, demanding that she promise him she won't hurt him. At that moment, Seung arrives just in time and distracts the guy who was chasing Gina, so she takes the opportunity and hits him on the head. Seung checks on her and tells her he's already called the police. When the obsessed guy hears the police sirens, he runs away and accidentally bumps into Tak, who asks him if he's seen someone strange, since he's his friend, and doesn't know he's the one stalking Gina. But suddenly, Tak finds Gina's photos in his bag and realizes he's the obsessed one, so they catch him and hand him over to the police. Tak thanks Seung for saving Gina. They leave, and Gina notices Seung is upset. She tells him it's not his fault and that he should be happy because he arrived in time and became the hero who saved her. He tells her he's decided to walk her home every day, and he actually does. Unfortunately, he discovers her parents are traveling, so he asks if she'll be okay alone. She asks if he wants to come inside and make sure himself, and of course he doesn't say no and goes in with her. He's nervous, so she tells him, "Make yourself at home," and invites him to dinner. He sees a photo of her with Hana and asks about her. She tells him they've been friends for 4 years and that Hana is her best friend. He changes the subject and tells her not to worry. As long as he's there, she should sleep and relax. In less than 5 minutes, he's the one who falls asleep. Gina realizes she's really starting to like him. The next day at school, Gina goes to talk and thanks him. He takes the opportunity to ask if they can at least go back to being friends. Then we go to Gina's friend, who invites her and her friends to spend a vacation at her house. Of course they agree. Seung and his friend will go too. Suddenly, they find Tak in front of them and realize he's going with them as well. Seung finds out that Gina and Tak have become friends again. They arrive at the friend's house, and during the vacation, they play, joke, and have a really nice time. While cooking, Hana suddenly comes in and asks if he needs help, clearly trying to get closer to him. Our hero doesn't want to embarrass her, so he asks her to chop the onions. Suddenly, Gina enters the kitchen, and our hero gets so absorbed with her that he forgets Hana is even there. Hana gets upset. When they gather to play, they decide to play a game where everyone whispers a question into the ear of the person next to them and points to the person the question is meant for. When Gina keeps answering Tak's name to the hero's friend, they want to know the questions. The friend says that to know the questions, they have to get hit on the back, and our hero agrees so he can find out. He keeps getting hit over and over until it's Hana's turn, and Tak asks her a question. She points at Gina. Gina decides to get hit to know the question, and Tak tells her he asked Hana if she likes someone there. Gina starts wondering why Hana chose Seung and becomes clearly jealous and upset. Later, Seung asks Gina to go out together. At the same time, Hana feels stomach pain and messages Seung asking him to go with her to the pharmacy, but his phone battery is dead. Meanwhile, he and Gina spend time together and grow closer, and he's happy. Hana sees them together and gets upset, goes back home angry. When Tak asks what's wrong, she tells him that Gina and Seung have a fake dating contract, but now they're getting closer and acting like they're really in love. The next day, when Gina sees Seung, she gets nervous and avoids him. When they're handing out food, Gina jokes and says she'll take all of it, which makes Hana angry. She tells her she's selfish and always takes everything for herself, speaking to her harshly. Gina doesn't understand what she did to deserve that. Suddenly, Hana grabs her bag and leaves. Tak goes after her and asks if she's acting this way because she likes Seung. She admits she does. He tells her she shouldn't behave like this and should wait for the right time because Gina will eventually go back to him, and then Hana can take Seung. We go to Gina at training, where she sees Hana and apologizes, saying she didn't mean to take all the food. Hana ignores her. Suddenly, the trainer comes and tells them they need money. Gina objects and says that when she signed the contract with the company, it wasn't written that she had to pay. The trainer tells her they're strict during training and take money from trainees who don't improve, meaning Hana, and asks her to transfer money to the company manager. Gina objects and says if they're taking money, they should take it from everyone, not just one person. But the trainer shuts her down and says she knows her job and has her reasons. Gina doesn't stay quiet and defends Hana, praising her and saying she's the hardest working trainee and that she's never seen a company take money from its trainees. The trainer tells Hana to pay and leaves. Gina is shocked when Hana refuses to leave with her and tells her if she wants to go, she should go alone, and agrees to pay the money. Gina is hurt by her behavior and leaves, thinking the whole way about Hana and their ruined friendship. The only person she thinks of going to is Seung. We go to Seung, who suddenly finds Gina in front of him and asks why she's here. Shouldn't she be training at her company? She tells him about Hana and what's happening between them. He tells her she's not wrong and that she's a kind person who doesn't like hurting others. He says that since he got close to her, he's realized how good she really is. He asks what she'll do now that she left the company. She says she doesn't know, but her dream has always been to become a famous idol. He shows her a video he filmed of her singing and asks her to upload it to YouTube, saying she'll definitely find someone who appreciates her talent. She's very happy with his support. When Gina goes home and meets her sister asks her to call her boyfriend because she wants to see him and meet him. Gina tells her they're not really dating and that it's just an agreement, but admits she's actually fallen in love with him and that that after the contract ends, she'll tell him the truth and they'll date for real. We go to Hana, whose trainer comes to her and tells her the company director refused to continue with the team without Gina and asks her to go bring her back. Hana refuses angrily and says she deleted Gina's number and cut off contact with her. At that time, Gina goes to tell Seung that her video went viral and got lots of views. Seung is happy that she's achieving her dreams and that she also likes him. We go to Tak, who says in an interview that he's interested in a girl, but she's distant from him right now. Seung sees this and realizes he means Gina. He goes to Tak and asks why he said that when they already broke up. Tak hints that he still loves her and will get her back, so Seung should find someone else. At that moment, Seung's friends discover the contract between him and Gina. An idea suddenly comes to her, and then she receives a message from the coach, who has sent her a link to a song by Gina that became famous. She also tells her that the manager is angry because she made Gina leave the company. When she opens the link and reads the comments, she finds everyone praising Gina, which makes her even more jealous and resentful. She goes again to Song and asks him to date her after the contract ends. He tells her not to joke about that and says it's better for them to stay friends. She confesses that she's serious and that she fell in love with him a while ago and asks him to wait for her. She says that if he doesn't love her, they could be in a contract relationship like Gina, and promises to be kind to him and never treat him badly, but he refuses and tells her that he loves Gina, and even if the contract ends, nothing will change about his feelings. She gets angry and tells him she tried everything to get close to him and doesn't understand why he's so attached to Gina, even though her attitude toward him is rude. Gina arrives and sees them and says she'll stay with them and listen to Hana and see where this will go with her boyfriend. But then she decides to take Song and leave. Before leaving, Hana realizes that Song is really Gina's boyfriend and asks her not to get close to him again. The next day, a strange message reaches all the students at school and they all start looking at Song and Gina with strange looks. Gina wonders why everyone is staring at her until she finds that a photo of the contract between her and Song has leaked and everyone has seen it. They accuse her of being a player and a man chaser who just does whatever she wants. Hana tells them that Gina and Song are indeed in a contract relationship, but only on paper, and they don't love each other, so everyone blames Gina for playing with Song's feelings and taking advantage of his love. We go to Song, who hears about the scandal and rushes to her so no one bothers her because of the rumors. He pulls someone aside and finds out that he's the one who caused the contract to leak and apologizes, saying he took it out of her bag when he was grabbing something. Song tells him not to worry and that he'll talk to Gina and see what's going on. When Gina is with her friend, she tells her that she doesn't care about anything except Song and that she doesn't care what anyone says about her as long as Song loves her. Hana remembers when Song was going to Gina and she stopped him, telling him that Gina didn't want to see him, that she was upset with him and didn't want to talk to him or even see his face. When he asks when she'll make up with him, she tells him that they weren't even fighting and that there were no problems between them. Song believes her and doesn't go to Gina. When Song is in class, he hears students saying bad things about Gina, so he gets angry and goes to her. We go to Gina, who is reading the negative comments, all full of hatred toward her. They start spreading the contract everywhere in school, and she doesn't know who did it or who wants to destroy her life. When Gina goes to ask Hana if she did it, Hana ignores her and doesn't respond. We go to Bon, who sees what happened to Gina and decides to take advantage of the situation and get closer to her to stand by her side. When Gina goes looking for Song but can't find him, she learns that he disappeared after what happened. Then she realizes that the leaked contract photo was taken in the room where she and her friends gather. She sees Hana's bag and confirms that she's the one who leaked the contract. When she confronts her, Hana doesn't deny it and tells her she did it to destroy her life and that if she could, she would hurt her even more. She says she hates her because she takes everything from her. She's more famous, prettier, and because of her, she left the company and will no longer draw or become an idol, and she ruined her life and also took the love of her life. Gina tells her that she was always jealous of her talent and that she always worked harder than her and that the heroine tried to imitate her to be like her and that she never noticed. Hana tells her she doesn't care and that she really did destroy her life the way hers was destroyed. The heroine can't believe that her lifelong friend is the reason behind everything happening to her. Suddenly, while they're talking, they hear the male lead speaking on the school radio, explaining his relationship with Gina and that she never used him. On the contrary, he truly loves her and she loves him too. We learn that he disappeared to get rid of all the contracts that were posted around the school. He decides to go to the broadcast room and tell the students their story. He admits that their relationship started with a contract but ended with love and that he decided to cancel the contract. Hana is happy, thinking she destroyed Gina's life, until she's shocked that he decided to start a real love story without contracts. He tells them that he always loved Gina with one-sided love and that the contract was his only chance to get close to her. Everyone is moved by his words and he asks them to stop bothering her and instead encourage and support the love between them. When Gina hears this, she's touched and encouraged and she confesses that she loves him too. She goes and tells Hana that she doesn't care if everyone hates her as long as the person she loves stands by her. Look girl, do whatever you want. When Gina goes to Song, she finds the teacher with him and learns that he was punished for using the broadcast without permission, but she finds notes he left everywhere defending her. We learn that after what happened, everyone at school decided to forgive Gina and accept their relationship, while Hana stopped coming to school. As for Taeg, he also decides to accept their relationship. Gina keeps going to Hana and asking her to return to school and apologizes if she ever made her feel inferior. Hana tells her she agrees to be friends again on the condition that she stays away from Song and tells her that she loves him and says, "If you really love me, give him up." When Gina returns home, she keeps thinking about it and doesn't know who to choose, her lifelong friend or the love of her life. We go to Song, who is practicing what to say to confess his love to Gina and make promises to her. On his way the next day, he finds Hana in front of him. She asks him to go out with her and tells him to forget about school for today. When he refuses, she insists and convinces him, so he goes with her. They eat, take pictures, play together, listen to music, and enjoy their time. We go to Song's friend. When Hana goes to him and asks if he knows where Gina is, he tells her they don't know anything except that they're busy. She feels sure they're together and keeps sending Gina messages. When Gina sees them, her expression changes, and it's clear she's upset, but she continues her day normally. We go to Taeg, and she tells him that Gina and Song's contract ends today and asks him to go back to Gina so he can be hers, saying this is an opportunity he shouldn't miss while she can reach Song. We go to our heroine, who suggests to Gina that they go out together a lot after they start dating. When Gina hears this, she looks upset about something, but their conversation is interrupted by a call telling her that the thing she asked for has arrived. Song tells her to stay where she is and that he'll go get it. She takes the opportunity and sees Hana's message at that moment. Hana asks her if she's on a date with Song and looks upset. Then Song gets a call and the heroine answers it. She finds out that Song had asked social services to fix the traffic light in front of her house so she could cross the street safely. She's very happy that he cares about the smallest details. She loves him the way he loves her, but she doesn't reply and goes home alone. When she goes to school the next day, they're all avoiding each other and not talking. When Gina meets Taeg and he asks her if she and her boyfriend are fighting, she tells him they broke up and starts crying. He says he came to get them back together, but after seeing her episode and that she loves Song, he decides to stay her friend and help her be with Song. He tells her that if she loves him, she shouldn't give up and that she must sacrifice for him. She thanks him and says she'll think about what he said. We go to Song's house, where he's holding a picture of his mother and looks sad. His father enters and asks if he broke up with his girlfriend. Song asks how he knew, and his father tells him it's obvious and advises him that if he truly loves her, he shouldn't let her slip away. Song decides to listen to his father and try one last time. We go to our heroine, who is thinking about Song and remembering their memories together. She gets a call, gets dressed, goes out, and meets Hana. She asks if she came to comfort her, but Hana says, "I know you're my friend, and you should stand by me." Gina tells her she doesn't want to be friends anymore, and that friends aren't supposed to hurt each other, and that she gave up her lover for her sake. She decides to cut ties with her and hold on to Song and not let him go. At the same time, Song is on his way, and they meet each other. They get closer and get back together. Time passes, and Hana leaves the school, while the two lovers decide to make a new contract with conditions that they stay together forever. Gina agrees, and it looks like a new love story is about to begin. And that's our story ends here. Please like and subscribe. See you in the next drama. Goodbye.